guys, give me a few seconds. I'm gonna do the audio thingy on my laptop and then we can get started. Alrighty, let's go. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel / my podcast. I am the marketing nomad. My name is Prithvi Madhukar. I am the author of 0 to 4 Figures and Self-Loved. I'm also a digital entrepreneur and a business owner. Few of the roles that I do take on, I'm a YouTuber, podcaster, Etsy shop owner, and Skillshare teacher as well. All of the links are in the description box below if you'd like to check it out. Welcome to episode 189 of the Ask TMN series, where we're going to be getting into how to get a paid brand deal as a small influencer. And by small influencer, I mean if you have less than 1,000 followers on any of the social media platforms. Now, if you're new here and you're wondering, well, what's this Ask TMN thing that you just spoke about? So Ask TMN is a series that I created where I answer some of the most commonly asked questions that solopreneurs may have about marketing, business, as well as mindset. Now, if those topics interest you, definitely do hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I do upload a podeo, and I upload a couple of these every single week. And for those of you who have already subscribed, thank you so much. That really helps me. That really helps my channel. Now, if you are done watching this video and it has helped you in some way, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That really helps me understand what you are looking for from my channel. Alrighty guys, without further ado, let's get into today's podeo. How to get a paid brand deal as a small influencer. And I gotta tell you, especially when you are at a lower follower count or a lower subscriber count, it can feel a bit daunting to get paid brand deals. And sometimes, it might feel that maybe you are too small to be getting paid brand deals. And one thing that I do want to say is that is absolutely not true at all. I've gotten a couple of brand deals even as a small influencer. I actually got my first brand deal when I was at 300 followers on my Instagram account, and I barely touched 50 subscribers on my YouTube channel at that point in time. So I do want to say that it is possible, and I'm really glad that you clicked on this podeo, because I really want to share my process of getting paid brand deals. I do want to say that as a small influencer, the range of paid brand deals that you would be eligible for or even be getting would be less. Yes, that is understandable, but it doesn't mean that you can't get paid brand deals at all. All right, so that is one aspect that I want to say. I just kind of want to boost up your confidence a little bit before I get into the 6 steps that I personally use when I wish to get paid brand deals for my business. All right, so let's get into the first step that I do have for you, and that is to have a media kit. This is very, very important, not just if you are a small influencer, even if you were a big one. They actually do have agencies that provide the media kit for you. You hire them, but as a small influencer, you probably have to do it yourself. And so in your media kit, okay, here are a few things that you would like to put into it. So the first is your stats. Just kind of outline, okay, well, these are the followers that I have. These are the views that I have. This is the total watch time that I have in the given year. You can also add in your demographics. All of this will be available in the analytics section of your Instagram account, or even any of the platforms that you are on. This will be part of the analytics. You just have to go in and pick out the relevant stats. So the relevant stats to the brands would be the size of your following, the demographics, like where are they located, what is the age group that you personally target, and if there are specific geographical locations where people are more likely to tune into your account, make sure that you mention all of those in there. You also can write about yourself in the media kit. Just give a brief introduction about who you are, what kind of content that you make, and what basically are your strengths. And if you don't know how to put that across, the question that you would like to answer at this point is, why do people follow my content? Why do I have engagement levels on my content? All right, so kind of think about this question. What is it about your content that people like? What is it about your content that people resonate with? And the more you can answer that question, that would be your strengths. That would be what it is that you bring to the table that is unique to you, and what is it about you that catches people's attention, that makes them want to follow you. And I do want to say at this point, yes, it might feel a a bit daunting that you are only at 300 followers or maybe 500 followers. But I do want to say, if you were to perceive that many people in just an empty room, yeah, that would fill out a whole theater, wouldn't it? So think of it in that perspective, Think of it as one classroom has about 30 students. And so 300 means that you are teaching 10 classes at a time. That is amazing. Like, think of it in that perspective, and even, as a side note, I do want to say that when you have a small following, most likely the people who are following you out of their own, personal connection to you. And because you have a small following, there is more chances on your end to have that one-on-one connect with them. As you grow much bigger, that one-on-one connect tends to, I guess I wouldn't say diminish, but I will say that you might not have the time on your hand to have that one-on-one connect when you grow really big. So at this stage, I personally, the way that I took it was, it's a blessing. It really is a blessing. Even at this point, I still feel that it is genuinely a blessing that I get all this time to interact one-on-one. I actually know many of the followers who are following me on my accounts. I personally have interacted with them, and I share a good relationship with a few of them who, comment, who engage with my content, so on and so forth. So that is your strength as a small influencer, and you have to keep that in mind. The fact that what you say, there is a whole lot more value to what you say compared to a bigger influencer, just because you have that even more tight one-on-one connection. I'm not saying that they don't have an influence, of course they do, but you being a small influencer, people can actually reach out to you. They'll actually feel comfortable reaching out to you and understanding if whether the product is for them, or kind of get your thoughts on a particular detail about the product, so on and so forth. You share that comfort level with your audience, which I have to say, it doesn't necessarily happen with all the followers as you get bigger and bigger, just because of the time of not being able to invest in the amount of DMs that come your way. All right, so take that as a strength. Take that as a very, very powerful thing in your pocket right now. All right, so I have to say, one big thing about me getting my paid brand deals is I was confident about my numbers. And the minute you feel, underconfident about your numbers, yeah, automatically it shows in the way that you speak. It shows in the way that you send your email. Everything, if you are not confident about your numbers, you can't expect another brand to be confident about your numbers. That is the fundamental truth when it comes to getting paid brand deals. You need to know your worth first. You need to believe in your worth, and you need to believe in your worth regardless of your followers. Yes, you have to keep that in mind, just to have a realistic outlook, but at the same time, you need to believe in the value and the content that you are providing for the followers that you do have. All right, so it really starts with that. So that would be your media kit. Try to add your brand colors, make it, I would say, don't add so much of words to it. Make sure that the numbers stand out. There's not a lot of words on it because people don't really have the time to look. I would not have a media kit more than 2 PDF pages long. That's it, not more than that. And I would actually make it a lot more pictures, a lot more color, because people really just look at it for 7 seconds before they make that decision whether or not they're interested to read more and they want to get to know your account. So it's also important to keep links of your account, but I'm sure you would do that. But visually, just make sure that it is easy on the eyes, and it also brings out your personality. Like, people just can look at it and figure out who exactly you are. All right, so that would be your media kit. You can design this on Canva. You can design it on Illustrator, but yeah, Canva, it's the simplest platform that you can do this for. All right. Number 2 is to research brands that align with you. This is so important, because the more you can find brands that align with you, the higher your chances are of actually creating that relationship with that business. All right. So make sure that you understand your target audience first. You understand who are actually following you at this point. And I do want to say that when you are smaller, yeah, that's actually when you Oh, wait. That's actually when you are more sure of who is following you for what kind of content that you are putting for, because, well, naturally there's a little bit more time on your hand to figure out which content is working, which content is not working, so on and so forth. And even with the interactions that you have with the people on your social media accounts, you're more likely to understand what exactly is resonating with your audience. So again, take that as a strength, all right? So be very, very clear about the audience that you are attracting, about the audience that you do have, and find brands that are looking for the same audience. Find brands that are looking to tap into the same kind of audience that you have. And at this point, I do want to say that it is better for you to find brands that are, that have a similar range of followers as you have, depending on wherever you are. But on the other hand, even if they are like, maybe I would say, even if they are 50% bigger than you in terms of their following, yeah, I would say still reach out to them. The ones that are too big, I personally have not seen that kind of a relationship, like a business relationship in terms of small influencers. But I do want to say that it does happen in super niched areas. That does happen. So again, if you are targeting a very, very particular niche, and you know that you are probably one in a very few set of influencers out there who are talking about what you do, then yes, absolutely, feel free to reach out. But I would say, having a realistic expectation is a good thing to have at this point. Yes, you have to be confident about yourself, but you also have to be realistic, because just as you want, some sort of benefit from this business relationship, they too, the brand too, is looking for some sort of benefit for them as well. All right. So if you are super niched, or if there's a very, very specific I stumbled upon that word. If there is a very, very specific geographical location that you are targeting, yeah, that also would be another way that you can attract brand deals. And for me personally, even if it is like, if you're targeting a very, very specific geographical location, like your location, physically go visit the stores that are around you. Many of them might actually not even be on Instagram, or might not be active on Instagram, and you could use your pull to get people there. So there are different ways that you can go about it, and I think that the bottom line is understanding who exactly is your target audience, what they're looking for, and what the brand is looking for. If there is some sort of a merge, yes, definitely reach out to the brand, okay? There are different ways that you can reach out. Usually there'll be an email online, there'll be a phone number. You can even DM them on the social media platform that you are on. There are different ways that you can go about it. And I would say if one does not work, keep trying other avenues. All right. And I wanted to say something I do want to say that your media kit, one little trick that I personally have for my media kit is I leave certain spaces in my media kit for me to personalize the media kit to whichever company that I'm setting for. So I'm not necessarily changing the whole media kit. It's just certain sections where, for example, I'll just give you an example. I write the company name on the media kit so that they know this is specifically for them. It kind of lets them know that I am invested in this. I am genuinely interested to work with them. I write one good thing about what I like about what their brand is doing and why I believe it is important for my audience to be aware of their brand. And the third thing that I write is why my audience would be a good fit for their business and why I think this relationship will be beneficial to them. All right, so benefit to your target audience, benefit to them. Kind of merge these two in your media kit and make sure that it is very specific to the brand that you are applying for. So the rest of your media kit can be like a template sort of thing, but just add these 3 sections differently. And it's just a way to make your media kit a little bit more personalized. It really shows that you are genuinely interested in that relationship. All right. So that is number 2 for you. You've got to make sure that there is alignment to the brand, alignment to your target audience, alignment even to the brand values as well. That is also very, very key You have to personally agree with what the brand stands for. Okay, then there is number 3, which is outline the deliverables that you are going to be giving them. So for example, you are going to create one reel with their content, like receiving their product. Detail it out. The more details you can give them, the more they understand what they are paying for, the more likely or the higher chance that they will consider whatever proposal you're putting forth. All right, so details, details, details. That is very, very important. And be sure to be unique and creative, because when you're on social media platforms, brands are looking for that uniqueness, that creativity. They also want to stand out, right? They also do want to have content out there that is talking about them that is absolutely different from all the noise that is out there. And if you can bring that to the table, that is brilliant. That is amazing. It doesn't matter what size you are, your value comes in the content that you are going to be making for them. All right. So I would say, focus on the creative aspect of it. Give a lot of thought into what you are going to be putting forth to them, because that is what makes them consider. If you can give them a sneak peek of what they can expect, if you can even show them an example, maybe you've done it for another brand, you can give them an example, or you've created a reel very similar to that, you can give them as an example. Or, the more detailed you can outline it, the more they can imagine it. And the more they can imagine it, the more, I think imagination and wanting, there's some sort of tie-up over there, So the more they can imagine what you can do for them, the more likely they are going to understand the value you bring to the table. All right, so that is number 3 for you. Outline the deliverables and make sure that you are specific, you are clear, you are being creative, and there is some uniqueness to the kind of content that you will be putting out for them. Okay, and then number 4 is propose your rate. I want to say, please adjust your expectations accordingly. All right, take a look at the brand, take a look at where they stand, take a look at the budget that they may have, take a look at yourself, the following that you do have. Even though the content that you put out could be exceptional, but you also have to factor in that they are looking for exposure. And so factor in the exposure that you have, but also at the same time be confident. That's a little bit of a thin wire that you've got to walk on, but I am confident that you will be able to. All right. And one thing that I actually did when I first started out was I actually asked the brand what their budget was, and depending on their budget, I created my deliverables. So that is also something that you can go if you are a bit hesitant to put your rate out there. All right. So, and another thing that I will say is I also made the mistake of overcharging, as in like putting up a higher rate than what was acceptable for my following, so on and so forth. And you will, if the brand is really interested in working for you, they will let you know, well, this is beyond our budget, or we don't think that this can be, and then you adjust your expectations accordingly. There is a little bit of trial and error, I do want to say. But just be humble about the whole thing, and at the same time be open to them saying no, be open to them wishing to renegotiate. If they are willing to renegotiate, that's a good sign. That's a good sign, right? That you have caught their attention, but maybe their budget is not what you intend for at the same time. So in the beginning especially, I was willing to create some content for brand deals, and I was willing to do that at I wouldn't say a lower price, but I will say it was at a very cost-effective price for the brand, and that's because I wanted to build my portfolio so that I could show other brands. So if that's also part of the strategy that you wish to implement, don't worry about it. Don't feel the necessity to charge a certain amount because, well, your peers are doing it, or you think that's the industry norm. Sometimes you want to build your portfolio. You're starting at nothing. You want to build your portfolio. You need that practice. You need to build that confidence so that you can pitch to bigger brands. Feel free to absolutely do it in a way that is comfortable for you. There is no right or wrong way to go about this, all right? And like I said, there is a little bit of trial and error that goes in. Feel free to accommodate for that. All right, so that is number 4 for you, proposing your rate. Number 5, show proof of the value. So of course you would already have your stats in your media kit, but this is about the value. So take screenshots of comments under your videos, of people's DMs. Make sure that you're saving them somewhere on your laptop. Add those as proof, testimonials basically of the fact that your audience actually listens and considers whatever opinions you are putting out there. So make sure that you have a collection of those would add as your proof. And if you have maybe a DM of someone, you recommending something and then someone actually bought it, make sure that you put that in as well. That is proof of value that even though you have a small following, people are actually open to considering what you feel is a good fit for them. And that is very, very important. All right. And one thing that I've written over here is proof of your community, proof that you have invested time in building a community, because that is so important, and it is a key factor that brands do consider when they are, trying to reach out to an influencer, or even if the brand has never considered hiring an influencer or contracting out an influencer. Yeah, this is something that you could bring to their attention as well, that hey, I'm actually building a very strong community of like-minded people over here who believe in what your brand says and who are more likely going to purchase from your brand, and I can be a medium for that. All right. And number 6 is you have to keep trying. You are going to get many no's along the way, but don't give up. All right, if this is really how you want to take your business, you want to get paid brand deals, don't give up. Understand that there are different ways for a deal to be made. One, they could send you their product and you could review it, or they could pay you and send you the product and then you review it, or you share it with your audience. It could also be, where they send you the product and then you get paid for each sale that they make. There are different ways that you can go about this. What I do want to say is you should not be paying for the product. That's the one rule that I have for my paid brand deals as well. You should not be paying for the product and then they say they reimburse you for each sale you make. No, that is an absolute scam. Please do not fall for that, okay? Other than that, deals where it's just them sending the product and you do your content, yeah, that's also okay. Especially when you're in the beginning stages, the brands that you are more likely to contact will also be, having a very tight budget. Maybe they might not be able to afford to pay the rate that you are looking for. But in a case like that, just to build out your portfolio, you could ask them to send the product that they have, work on that, and maybe you can come up with a deal where you earn a small percentage of the sales that come through with you. How you can do that is get a code for you that is specific to yours. Like for example, mine would be PRIT10, right? And so that would be, people would put that as a coupon code, maybe get a 5% discount and you get 5% of the sale, so on and so forth. There are different ways to work around this, and if they can't pay you up front, but always make sure that you are not paying for the product that they are sending. That's an absolute no. All right, so keep trying. You're gonna hear a lot of no's. I guarantee that. I shouldn't be guaranteeing something like that, but I'm so sure that yes, you are going to find a lot of no's along the way. But I do want to say that there will also be yeses. So you've got to hit a certain number of no's to get that one yes, and take it as part of the process. That's how I take every aspect of my business. I think that there is a certain number. I think okay. I will probably create another video about this, but I think that for a yes, there needs to be a certain number of no's to get to that yes. I think that a little bit spiritual, okay? But I feel like there's a certain number of no's that we have to get through to get to a yes. And it's kind of like I'm filling that quota of no's to get to yes. And I take this for every aspect of my life, okay? Whether it's my personal life or it's my business, I believe that there are a certain number of no's to get to that one yes, and it's just the quota that I'm filling in. It's just me putting in my hard work to get to that yes, and the process is to get a certain number of no's. How many no's? I don't know, but there's a quota that I need to fill. And so when you think of it in that perspective, Yeah, it makes it easier for you to get through the no's, but I do want to say don't give up. All right, keep trying, keep reaching out to brands, and start with brands that are around you. That is a huge pro tip, because people around you, most likely you've actually interacted with them in person, you've actually they've known you personally as well. Maybe it's a grocery store that you visit often, or it is maybe this particular brand of oil that you buy very often, and it's homemade and they make it. Yes, start with the brands that are around you and then reach out to other brands. One thing that I will say, that even though you are online, yeah, that one-on-one personal connection that people have with you, that's a little bit different, and people are more likely to be open to a brand deal if they've known you to personally buy their product before. All right, so that is number 6, and just keep building your online presence, because yeah, it can be a little bit upsetting when you keep hearing no's when you are at a small following. But take it as part of the process and keep working on building your online presence. Don't give up on that. Don't feel dejected and stop building your online presence. Keep going. But while you're doing that, also focus on this as well. All right. And as you get bigger, trust me, brands themselves will start reaching out to you. It's only about getting to that point, And of course, when you are bigger and you personally want a specific brand that you are reaching out with, take all of this as just the lessons that you learned along the way, or giving you that exposure and that experience for when you are bigger and you want to reach out to even bigger brands, so on and so forth. So there are different positive ways to look at this, healthy ways to look at this, but keep going, keep working on your content, keep improving yourself, keep building that connection with your community. That is very, very important, even as you are looking for your paid brand deals. And like I said, as long as you are flexible in terms of how you want the brand deal to go, yeah, there are a lot of ways that it can go. As long as you are not putting in the money yourself, yeah, I think there are different permutations and combinations. Be open to that. Feel free to, try to see how it can work for them as well as you, because more likely their budget also will be low at that point, or they might not even have factored in. Maybe they didn't think of hiring a small influencer, and then you brought the idea to their mind and they're like, oh yeah, maybe I should, and so, try to accommodate their side of things as well, and their budget and so on and so forth. So that's how I would want to say. It's not impossible. It is tough, I will agree to that, but it is not impossible, and it's just about making sure you are confident first about your abilities, about the value that you bring, about the impact of the content that you are creating, about the impact your words have on the community that you are building, and as well as the strength of your target audience. All right. Yeah, that actually wraps up this entire podeo. If you liked it or it helped you in some way, please do give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I upload a podeo. Other than that, if you want to catch my 2 books, 0 to 4 Figures, Lessons Learned by a Broke CEO, that has 61 stories and lessons related to digital entrepreneurship. So if you're getting started with digital entrepreneurship, or you've been doing this for quite some time and you're feeling a bit lost with respect to business strategy, marketing strategy, growth mindset, positive mindset, success mindset, yes, absolutely, this book is for you. It is available on Amazon. My second book is called Self-Loved. It is a compilation of 1,000 journal prompts aimed towards healing, growth, and self-discovery. And these the topics that are covered are usually related to gratitude, manifestation, inner child healing, trauma healing, shadow work, so on and so forth, available on Amazon. Other than that, I have a productivity series called the Simple Series by the Marketing Nomad. It is it's a series of productivity planners, journals, and trackers. It is available on Amazon as well. At the moment of publishing this podeo, there are 18 of them available. Now, the simplest way to find all of my stuff, whether it's my planners, my journals, my trackers, my books, is to search my full name on Amazon. My full name is Prithvi Madhukar. It is Prithvi space Madhukar. The minute you do that, you're going to get an author page for me, and then all of my stuff is just going to show up, and it's just easier for you to take a look at it. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching all the way up until here, or even listening all the way up until here. I will catch you on my next podeo. Bye bye.